What is up, Raider Nation? Welcome back to the LV Raider 10 channel. With training camps in full swing, I wanted to go over some players I am most excited for this season. Some sleepers I think could have big impact on the team this season, as well as many breakout players for this year. With all that being said, let's jump right into it. So I just wanted to preface this section with I will not be including the big players such as Maxx Crosby, Christian Wilkins, and Davante Adams, because of course everyone is excited to watch them perform this season. So with that being said, the first player I'm excited for this season is Jack Jones. Last year between the Patriots and the Raiders, Jack Jones totaled 37 tackles, 28 solo and 9 assisted, 5 passes defended, and of course 2 very memorable interceptions that won Raider Nation over.
This is unbelievable. It's like he was in the huddle. Look at him jumping. He reacts quicker than anybody for the offense. It's like he knew that with that motion, this is the play they run to get it to 30, and he said, not on my watch. He just stepped right in front of it, one-hands it, and walks into the end zone. Holmes throws, and he's picked off, and this one's going back for a touchdown. 2 steps, 2 defensive touchdowns, and it's Jack Jones who had a pick 6 last week.
Antonio Pierce, the head coach, coached this guy in high school at Long Beach Poly and at Arizona State, and boy, what a great decision to bring him.
The reason I chose Jack Jones as the first player to cover today in my excited for section is because of the potential that we've seen over the last 7 games he played with the Raiders. If he can continue to be an absolute playmaker in the back end of this defensive unit we are expecting to be quite good this year, there is no limit to what this team can be this season. Headed over to the other side of the ball, I'm quite interested in the development and growth of this offensive line as a unit. Last season, Pro Football Focus had the Raiders' offensive line finish as the 10th best offensive line in the league. With a lot of moving parts this offseason, and the newly constructed line consisting of Kolton Miller, Jackson Powers-Johnson, Andre James, Dylan Parham, and the right tackle spot being occupied by most likely Thayer Munford, an offensive line unit is young with a lot of potential. We know Kolton Miller is a top 10 tackle in the game, at the least, and Jackson Powers-Johnson was arguably the best interior offensive lineman in this past draft. Andre James is a solid center who has the respect of that offensive line room. Dylan Parham was the best offensive line rookie in 2022, who is moving to the right guard position where he was one of the best guards in the country while in college. And Thayer Munford, who has filled in for injuries and spot start games, showing progression every season and is expected to continue that progression with one of his best years this upcoming season. The first sleeper player I have for this year is Tyree Wilson. I know that may not seem to some as a sleeper player exactly, but with the emergence last season of Malcolm Koonce and now the expectations he is receiving as being the pass rusher opposite of Maxx Crosby, Wilson has been somewhat seen as an afterthought due to a subpar rookie season. Last year, Wilson had 29 total tackles, 16 solo tackles, 13 assists, and 13.5 sacks with a forced fumble and a fumble recovery over 17 games. Not great numbers for the number 7 overall pick, but towards the end of the year, Wilson started to flash the potential that led the Raiders to select him with that 7th pick in the draft. It is also well reported that he has a high work ethic that has been spoken about from the likes of Maxx Crosby. Last season, he was expected to come in and produce right away for the Raiders defense, but with some setbacks before the start of the season, such as coming off a foot injury and limited snaps during the preseason, because of the injury, he wasn't allowed to get acclimated to the professional game until he started to get a lot more in-game reps. And now looking forward to this season with the emergence of Malcolm Koonce and the addition of Christian Wilkins, I can see Wilson having a rather big sophomore season this year for the Silver and Black. The next player I think could have a rather quiet season, but could impact the Raiders season rather importantly, is Tre Tucker. With so many different options and weapons on this Raiders offense, this upcoming season, wide receiver Tre Tucker can silently make a big impact on this team. He is this wide receiver room's biggest deep threat, and from multiple reports out of camp including from head coach Antonio Pierce, he's set to show he has worked on becoming not just a single attribute guy, but an all-around wide receiver in his own right. The breakout player for this season for the Raiders is going to be Aidan O'Connell. Last season, O'Connell threw for 2,218 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions on a 62.1% completion percentage over 11 games. O'Connell was absolutely thrown into the fire last season, and he definitely struggled as a rookie, but he also showed flashes of what he is capable of providing. I believe the Raiders will most likely start the season with Gardner Minshew as QB1, but AP and the confidence he has and trust he has in O'Connell will keep Minshew on a short leash. The reports out of camp are that both QBs are still fighting for the number 1 spot, and that they are both struggling a bit. I think that's caused by 1, a new offense that has been known to be quite difficult to master, and 2, the Raiders defense is going to be a top 5 defense in the league this year. The preseason games and reps against a different defense will start to solidify who the starter will be for this season. Thank you Raider Nation for joining me in another video. Please remember to like, subscribe, leave any comments on what you want me to cover this upcoming season, and follow me on all of my socials at LVRaider10. And remember, just win baby.